Woodcraft, helping you make woodwork.
Okay. Well, hello, welcome to Woodcraft, and today we're going to talk about how to make a wooden scoop. Wooden scoops are actually very handy. This last winter I was looking for something in my garage to try to find to sprinkle some ice melt around, and I had no plastic cup and it was getting gross and stuff, and I was tired of grabbing it, so I thought a scoop would be nice. So I went on the internet and I found a gentleman on YouTube who was making wooden scoops using the bandsaw. And so I'm just going to kind of go through and take you a little step-by-step on how to make one. I just looked around the garage and I had an old chunk of 4x4 sat in there. And I thought, boy, that'll be great because I'm not going to worry about it getting ruined or anything like that. So I cut off about a 6-inch piece of a 4x4 here. And I drew kind of a U-shaped on it with the corners clipped. So the first thing you do is you go to your bandsaw and then you cut out this U shape and then you clip the corners, and kind of what you get is something that looks kind of like this. And then I cut the corners off to make it a round shape. So I end up with like a piece that looks like this. Now the center portion here is what I'm going to use to make my handle out of. So what you would do is you take your piece, put some glue about the last inch or so inside there, and you glue that guy up. And you end up with a piece something like that. Well, that's getting to start to look like a little bit like a scoop, but it's still a little long ways to go yet. So after she dries, you've got her all glued in there. You want to make sure you round. Okay, you want to round these corners off here to get that kind of shape. You could leave it square if you like. You don't even have to do a rounded bottom on it. You could leave it as a square scoop, but you got to work on the handle. Now the first two cuts I made on the handle were in like this to make the top shape, so I could get something similar to that style right there. And then when those two cuts are made, of course it's going to be too big here on the bottom. So you got to kind of come in here and make a big cut like that. And what it ends up being, if I can get the tape to come off here. Trusty pocket knife. I think so. And now we're back to a shape like this. So now we're starting to look a lot more like a scoop. Now if you got a good old belt sander, take her over to the belt sander and start defining it and refining it and checking it with your hand until it feels good. And hopefully in the end you'll end up with something similar to this. You also want to make sure you kind of do a little chamfer on the front part here so that whatever product you're going to be using to dig it in with, it'll go in and out. A little bit of sanding back and forth, and you kind of get like that. Now you don't need to make a big one. You can even go with a smaller one. In this case, these are made out of a 4-inch piece of wood, 4-inch long, 4/4 stock, and you can vary it for different widths, different sizes, squareness. If you wanted to mix different kinds of wood in it, you can make a real fancy one. And in the instance of this one here, I just used a 14-inch bandsaw with a 1/4-inch blade, 10 teeth per inch to help give me that smoother feeling on the inside, so I'd have to not do as much sanding. And then a good old belt sander, and just shaped it all down. Does anybody have any questions? It is pretty simple, yeah. And you end up with a nice little scoop and real handy.
What's nice is the way the end grain would almost match it. I mean, the outside.
Oh, yeah. In this particular case, it did come out. You can still see my glue line a little bit there, and I just used a good old Tite Bond regular #1 glue. If I was going to use this in a wet place, I would probably go with Tite Bond 2 or Tite Bond 3, something that's water resistant or waterproof. And depending upon what I'm going to use it for is what kind of finish I would put on it. If I was going to use this for something food grade, I might go with like a butcher block mineral oil finish or a salad bowl finish, something, you know, that wouldn't be food grade safe. But if I was going to use it for in this case, I was going to use this one for snow melt. I probably might go with several coats of a good strong polyurethane or something to seal it up and protect it, make it a little slipperier for the material to go in and out of. All right. Well, thanks all for coming today. I appreciate it.